So welcome again at the chapter meeting at the Frisse Blikken, the PMI-NL chapter meeting. I was very intrigued by Frisse Blikken, who had on their website a statement that they had a fresh look at project management. The agenda for today is that we will get an introduction of where we are now, the Frisse Blikken, and then after that we will talk about the millennial approach for project management, which will be more kind of a discussion moderated by Ties and Lonneke. After the break we will be talking about more, well, is it more rigid, but at least more formal kind of project management methodology. Louk is talking about ISO21500, which is kind of the new standard in project management. And Robert is here, our past president of PMI, who is in the work group of ISO, so he knows the latest and greatest on that topic. And then we will wrap up.
First of all, welcome indeed at Frisse Blikken, or our international brand Fresh Forces. I'm Ties, already working for 5.5 years with Fresh Forces, which makes me a dinosaur, because Fresh Forces is almost 7 years. A relatively small company, but we're with 75 people large.
Hi, I'm Lonneke. Welcome everyone. Really nice to have you here. I think you're a large group, so it's great. Let's make a beautiful night of it. I work here for 5 months now, so I'm actually one of the youngest employees. However, I'm also one of the oldest, because we have a lot of millennials. I think the average age of Frisse Blikken, which in English we call Fresh Forces, is around 27. We like to work with millennials, and it's also our power that we bring millennials as a force within companies, large companies, multinationals, our clients. How can you really change a company, change the culture? Because I think, and I think many of you have heard this quote, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So as long as the culture is not really in place, I think you can never realize the plans and strategy that you have.
And imagine you're at one of the bigger companies, maybe a company you know, that has a Dutch base, but also has some international branches. And the project that it consists, that you want to point your discussion towards, as you will, is a combination of some business and some IT integration.
Ook een agile die zijn de vaste stappen. Ja.
That's why you hesitate to make on the operation.
Ja, operational. Want hier zit je dan vaak in wat meer chaotische situaties. Ja.
Waterval zou dus in die hoek zitten, dan zou agile in deze hoek zitten.
Ja, nee.
Die bepaalde bomen zie je niet door het enorme bos aan informatie. Ja, staat erop hè? Je mag me quoten hoor. Als je, ja.
I've been walking around a bit and heard some very interesting discussions going on.
Both groups actually discussed the same ideas, where we said the foundation is really in the fixed methods. So we say that in the basics we want to have the trained individuals trained for PMI or whatever methodology you want to use. And also the common language we see as very important, and we see that as the basics where you start from. And then on top of that, how you customize it for your different projects is really based on the common sense and the personalization.
My name is Louk Dielen. I'm working for Arcadis since 2001 and always involved in project management as a manager of project leaders. We have 28,000 employees all over the world, 400 offices in 40 countries, and running 30,000 projects. Please keep in mind, if I talk to people about project of Arcadis, whoa, those are the multi-million, 10, 20, 100 million euro project. Forget about it. If you look to the Netherlands, I would say 80% is less than 50K. We are a company built on a lot of companies we bought all over the world, in different stages of maturity, different way of working, different clients. Do we have a common language? And the answer was no. Why are you multinational? Because you want, of course, your resources being used all over the world, or your knowledge, you know. That's why you do it. A strategy was formulated to create one global business with one best practice, consistent way of working. The challenge. When we started to build or to design this Arcadis way of working, we had discussions in the regions about project management. And this is the landscape. Well, it's obvious. I mean, every country, every region does have a favorite way of project management. And the question was, Okay, how can we come up with one way of working? I remember 1 year of discussion with my colleagues, and we were not able to formulate what's a project, and what's a project leader or project manager. At the end, after 1 year, I can tell you, we were talking about exactly the same. But just we were not able to bridge this. And then, the great moment came. And we have a great author here. This was used for the piece project management, deliver the result, we used it in almost every detail. And this is about terms and definition. That's what we were discussing. We couldn't agree on it. So he rescued me for 5 years of discussion.
Most of the input to ISO21500, like 80%? 75, 80% is PMI based, right? 95% is PMI based, so you're in the right room here.
I'm working with the development of ISO standards for project management for the last 10 years. Simple. Standard is an agreement between stakeholders in the world on a product, a service, a system, management system. The ISO international standards are the backbone of the society. Steering committees, they call it technical committees. For project management, they have a technical committee, 258, that is an acronym of course, but it is steering committee number 258, which is dealing with developing the standards for project, program, portfolio management. So what we did, we looked at the market, we got as input from PMI, the PMBOK 4, we got from BSI in the UK, their standard for project management. We got from Germany the DIN standard for project, program and portfolio management. And we got from IPMA the ICP, the competence guideline at that time. We brought them all together. We literally added up all the processes and all the competences which we could find in all those 4 books. What we created is, after 2 years of discussion, an overarching document, a very thin. Our aim was to create a very thin document, like not the 500 pages of the PMBOK or the 400 pages of the IPMA, but something like between 10 and 50 pages. That was the original goal. The result was overarching document and connecting. Actually, you used the same words as well. We see it as a reference model, and it brings one vocabulary, a common vocabulary for the people. The PMBOK guide and the other methods are actually to be used by individuals. You can become certified if you go through an exam based on those Bibles, let's say. The aim for an ISO standard is that you could, in principle, assess or certify or review or audit for an organization.